Ah. All right. Music reviews first. I wanted to talk about I wanted to talk about John Van Dusen. I know I reviewed his album recently in the past, but I didn't know that there was basically an extended version on Bandcamp and on the vinyl edition, which I don't think is out yet. I'm not sure, but there's an extended edition, and there's like 5 extra tracks. And the truth is, with this album, I Am Origami Part 4 Marathon Daze, um, it's grown on me a lot, and I think I like it more the more I listen to it. I mean, I think I said in my last review that blah, that I liked it. But I don't know. I feel like I'm learning to appreciate it more, and the extra tracks in the expanded edition, the Bandcamp edition, I think they're still solid songs. I don't think that this album is as punchy as his previous I Am Origami album, but I think the songwriting is just as good. Just really solid indie rock. Um, and just really great songs of where John Van Dusen is, exploring his faith, exploring his beliefs, uh, but also wanting to stay true to, I guess what we're talking about, stay true to what God says. So there's quite a few songs on here where John Van Dusen is expressing doubts and questions, but other songs where John Van Dusen is surrendering to Christ. And I think that that's beautiful. I think it's great. So I'm Origami Part 4 Marathon Days, I think, and the Bandcamp vinyl edition, which by the way, you can get the Bandcamp edition. Just go to Bandcamp and you can buy the album for any price. So I think that's a pretty good deal. But yeah, I really love this album, and it's just the more I listen to it, the more I like it, honestly. So uh, that is that for John Van Dusen. Next, we got new single from Anberlin, Circles. Don't know how many people know it, but I grew up a big fan of Anberlin. Uh, and they're back together. They broke up and now they're back together, and they're releasing an EP, not an album, but an EP, which is fine. I think within the next month. So I'm definitely going to talk about the EP once it's out. And this single Circles, I think is great. It's just this big wall of sound. It's a great mixture of like fusion, sort of jazzy and rock, uh, which is different for Anberlin. I mean, it's still very much rock, but there's interesting use of saxophone in this song, and I think that's great. Honestly, it works well. There's also interesting use of a kids choir for such a heavy song, but it works. So it's very different for Anberlin, yet still very much at home. It's Anberlin plus a couple things, a couple other things. Just good alternative rock, you know. So, yeah, Anberlin Circles. And then next we got Tyson Motsenbocker is back with some new music. He announced his upcoming album, Milk Teeth. That'll be coming out pretty soon. But he released the single from the first single from the album, Carlo Rossi, "Love in the Face of Great Danger," and this is a new, more poppy direction for Tyson. Uh, but it's still very much Tyson. It's just, uh, it's a it's a progression for Tyson, because Tyson kind of started out with a more acousticy indie kind of feel, and then now as he's developed, and it was kind of present in his previous album, Someday I'll Make It All Up to You. I think I said that whole title right. There was a bit more poppiness to it, but still that acoustic presence in it. But this was just kind of full on pop. There's fun synth work as well as nice organic instrumentation. So it's not a total new. It's not completely. It's a very. It's This progression makes sense for Tyson Motsenbocker. I'm just saying that, but I liked it. I think it's very fun indie pop. So yeah, Carlo Rossi, Love in the Face of Great Danger, Tyson Motsenbocker. I'm excited for the new album. So yeah. And then next one, this is gonna be an interesting addition to Christian music reviews, because some people would question whether this is actually Christian. Now, the topic has kind of come up on this channel before, like what counts as Christian music, and I kind of just come down to the definition that if the artist who wrote it is someone who professes the true gospel, then I'll talk about it on this channel. Unless something comes up at some point for me to question their salvation and their faith, then I won't talk about them. But I feel okay with talking about most Christian artists, as far as I know, as well as anyone who is in the secular realm but professes to be a Christian. Anyone like 21 Pilots or Mumford and Sons. Which, speaking of which, this new single is from Marcus Mumford, who is the lead singer of Mumford and Sons, and this is his solo project. And as far as I know, Marcus Mumford is a believer. He has professed it publicly, and I have no reason to doubt him. Some people may, because this song is actually explicit. So I want to say, I don't, don't play this around your children, because there's one F-bomb in it. And we can go into like whether, I have my own thoughts about language and such. For one thing, he's British, and the F word isn't really considered a bad word where they're at. But anyways, I'm not going to go down that rabbit trail. This song is Cannibal by Marcus Mumford, and it's a preview into what the whole album is going to be about. And basically what it's about is abuse that Marcus Mumford was the victim of in his life. Now, he hasn't, as far as I know, he hasn't been that open about who was the abuser and like when was it the time in his life. But the thing that I love about this track is that you listen to the lyrics and you're like, oh, this is dark. Like, this is the most specific that Marcus has ever been in his lyricism, and it's very very raw. I mean, it's not like detailed or anything, of course, but you hear it and you just really feel for Marcus and what he went through. But the thing that I love about this song is that it doesn't seem to be all about like anger and bitterness, but it's about him learning to move on from it. And we'll see how much further he goes into it with the album in terms of like the subject of forgiveness. But I'm really intrigued, and I think that this is a pretty solid track. It's produced by Blake Mills, which is one of my favorite producers. I mean, in the secular realm, of course, but I still love a lot of the stuff that Blake Mills has worked on. And yeah, Cannibal by Marcus Mumford. If you have no problem with some explicit language in it, then I would highly recommend it. I've talked about Mumford and Sons on this channel before, so I don't have any issue with talking about it. Okay. So that is it for Christian music review.
Hey, so I don't know if you guys know this, but what you just watched was basically just a clip of a full podcast episode of my podcast, The I'm Clifford Today Show. So you should just go check out that whole episode. Also, while you're at it, you might as well like the video and subscribe to my channel. You know, that'd be really nice. I mean, you're nice people, right? Okay.